Hi guys, this is Alex from Not Casuals, and today we're going to be playing Rise of Kingdom. So for today's guide, I want to talk about commanders and their mobility basically. So one of the really good trick this game has to offer, and that not that many people I guess know about in general. Like I mean, obviously like the more experienced people that have been playing for a long time probably know this. At least I hope. But I mean, mobility is something that's super important in this game, especially when you're doing PvP or participating in kill event and you're trying to chase like gatherers and stuff like this. So you have a few commanders in the game like Cao Cao that have the mobility, and this talent tree is extremely useful to basically do what it says, mobility. Like so, increase a lot of the march speed percentage basically. So this is the type of talent tree that you would be looking for at a Cao Cao that's not yet maxed. You would probably go get the peacekeeping stuff first, just so that low level you're going to benefit from farming barbs, gaining additional experience, and reducing AP costs when you're doing attacks, which is really useful. This additional march speed all over here is really useful, and the same can be said about this hasty departure. Basically, whenever you're going to be leaving a structure, which includes nodes of resources, you're going to get a movement speed buff for 60%, which is a lot. One of the other thing that also going to benefit Cao Cao for mobility is his third ability, which in my case is still pretty low level, so it's not the end of the world. And Cao Cao, I mean, it is not necessarily for the free-to-play players. That's why there are equivalent characters that you can use to do this. Belisarius is one of them. He also has the mobility tree and the peacekeeping tree. So it's basically like the same version as Cao Cao, but like just like as a different tier of commander. So it's going to be easier to maximize him. And he does not have the exact same role as the other ones. He's a lot like a hit and run type of character, especially because of his third ability, which he increase the march speed after leaving battles, but also he can add a debuff on the characters, so you can basically hit and run and just easily get out of combat. So I'm gonna show you guys just like a small estimate, like an idea of what to expect, like a difference in movement speed when you're going to be playing like different type of characters. So for this test, I'm just going to use the tier 1 horseman cavalry, which is going to be useful. So in my case, whenever I do kill events in the Mightiest Governor event, I'm often going to run a Cao Cao back with Minamoto just for the extra damage in Indiana. Since my Cao Cao is built mobility, he's not as strong and will need backup. You can compare this to a Belisarius and backed up with maybe like a Dragon Lancer, which has a lot of mobility just synced into his skills. I'm also gonna get out a third commander, which won't be speed focused, so just anyone, it doesn't really matter. And he's also gonna, well, she's also gonna have a tier 1 unit for cavalry, and I'll just try to do a speed comparison. So in this case, I'll get Boudica, and I'll just ask her to get like around here. Actually, a bit further. Let's say over here. And I bet you that she'll get there later than the other commanders. Let's see if I can erase this. So she got a head start. These two are starting their movement speed. So they're doing like a detour. They're not going in a straight line, you know. So let's see if I can try to do this properly and show you guys the insane... Oh, I misclicked there. Well, rip. There you go. You can see Cao Cao got the movement speed buff from entering the node. Then I can already tell him to enter this, leave. Same thing for him over here. And they're both gonna beat Boudica, even though she left the node, like straight path over there, and she left first, and she still got beaten. So try to put this scenario in a situation where you're chasing someone. Obviously, if you get your commander and you're just jumping nodes every time because you're either running away from someone or trying to chase someone, that node hopping is going to be extremely useful to engage and disengage combat. It's even going to be even more useful once you're going to hit like a war situation, like in KVK or something like that, and you're going to just need to reposition yourself because you just hit a group and then you're like, oh, I might be in trouble. So you just Just jump into a node, disengage, and run away. Now, there's plenty of other stuff to take into consideration. Obviously, once you're going to be using tier 3 unit, tier 4 units, tier 5 units, the higher the tier, the slower they're going to be. And right now I'm using cavalry for the example for you to like better understand the situation, how fast the mobility characters can be, especially when you're using nodes. It's pretty insane. But if you're using cavalry and you're facing infantry, for example, or archers or whatever, I mean, you're gonna have even a bigger movement speed advantage. And if they're using siege because they're gatherers and you're just chasing gatherers for the kill event, well, even better to chase them easily. Now, there's not a ton of ways to increase your movement speed, your march speed in Rise of Kingdom. However, if you're going to participate in a war-like kill event, I would say, you really want to try and find one of these rune vastes from the shrines or altars or sanctum, temple, whatever, where you're at in your kingdom. Try to find a march speed rune. These are really going to help you chase down the easier targets. For example, in the kill event during the Mightiest Governor last phase, you really want to try and hit gatherers as much as possible because they have small troop amounts and they're not fighters. They're using like commanders that are gatherers. So it's really like a win-win scenario in the sense that you're going to take very few losses. The fight's going to be very quick, and you can really jump nodes quite a lot when you're attacking gatherers because, I mean, they're gathering, so they're by a node, obviously. So it's a great way to get a lot of points during this event and to not like face a big army. Like if you have like a big march of 200,000 units chasing you, just disengage. They won't be able to catch you. Now, one of the other things that you actually can get movement speed, march speed from are when you capture shrines with your alliance or sanctums or whatever. The problem is you can't really always choose your shrine like exactly the stats it's gonna have. Like I mean, every shrine has static stats, and you're gonna have to deal with like whatever alliances there that you want to maybe steal their shrine from or stuff like that. But basically, when you go into the holy sites, you can see in our cases we have two shrines, I guess, that have march speed bonuses of 5%, which can be pretty useful for the PvP and just being efficient with your moving around. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. I hope this video was useful to you and it might help you set up your next MGE event for kill event. And yeah, if you like the video, make sure to throw a like, maybe subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you guys.